Alright, so we're back with another game. We're going to play Rhinar versus the Bravo that won the ProQuest. These ProQuest decks are actually pretty good to play against because it's giving you an idea of what everyone's playing. Bravo is very popular, Prism's very popular. So if you want to play against some of these decks, Felt Table is probably one of the good tools to use to try out, see how these decks run. See what they're trying to do. And then hopefully you can figure out like some sideboarding things. I feel like I haven't cut enough cards from this deck. We're going to see how it goes. I may not have cut enough cards for this deck to do well, but we will see. I have probably more cards that need to be cut from here because I don't know the sideboarding strategy of this particular player and what they would sideboard against me. I just have my 60 set up, so we're gonna run it back and see what happens. So let's go ahead, randomly choose who goes first, and looks like Bravo is going first. So we're gonna make a Seismic Surge. Ooh, and a Spinal Crush on turn 1. Now, what I'm looking to see is I don't think they paid for Dominate. They did not. So since they didn't pay for Dominate, I really can dump my hand into blocking this because it's the first turn. So I'm going to block with Awakening Bellow, Alpha Rampage, and Barrage of Bighorn. Alright, Spinal Crush is pretty rough. Pretty rough for Brute in general to deal with. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Not the best hand, I can say that. We could do a Savage Swing, but the Savage Swing would only be backed up by 1 Intimidate. So we could do a Savage Swing for 9 with 1 Intimidate. That's not too bad. But we're going to lose the Barraging Beatdown red. Or we can play the Barraging and swing Hammer and try to Arsenal one of these cards for later. And that may be the better play. Bravo is hard for Rhinar in general. So I think we do play it a little conservative because we do want him to block with 2 or more cards because we really don't want him to have a handful of blues. If he has a handful of blues, we're not doing well the next turn. So let's go ahead and Barraging. And we're going to go ahead and swing the Hammer. And we will actually pitch the Savage Swing, I think. I want to keep the blue for next turn, potentially. So we're attacking for 8. Blocking 7, so we did get one card from hand at least. Okay, so he is blocking the full amount. Well, he took 1. Sorry, he did take 1, which activated his Skull Cap. That's why it said it was blocking 8, even though he took 1. And we're going to save this Awakening Bellow for later. Okay. Not an awful hand. Not awful at all. Okay, so he's just doing a Buckling Blow for 6. Question is, how much of that damage am I willing to take? We could come in for a considerable amount next turn. We can come in for 9, double dominated. 9 or more double dominated. We could technically block with a Wrecker Romp and still be fine, because we don't need 2 blue Wrecker Romps. So let's go ahead and block with a Wrecker Romp and just take 3. That also turns off his Skull Cap, so Skull Cap is useless to him. Alright, let's go ahead and play this Awakening Bellow. Let's get this thing out of Arsenal. So we're going to pitch our Reckless Swing, Intimidate 1. Then we're going to play our Wrecker Romp, discarding the Massacre. So we're doing a triple Intimidate. Choosing not to block it, he's going to take the 9. Okay. And I mean, is 9 a crazy value this early in the game? Probably not. But he wants to keep all of his cards. It's a little scary. We'll see what he's got. Making a seismic. He's playing healing. That's why he didn't mind taking the damage. He's healing for 5. Okay. That's fine, that's fine. He can heal for 5. We're gonna get some more damage through. So hopefully it was worth it. Let's do a barraging beatdown. A barraging beatdown. And here's the real question. Do we pressure the hand by going club and save this pack hunt for later? I think that's the correct play here. So, because if I play the pack hunt, intimidate another card, he gets to keep those 3 cards, plus his arsenal card. If I swing the hammer, he has a choice to make of blocking with 2 cards to stop the bonus damage. So, right now it's an 11, unless he blocks with 2 cards from hand. Oh, he's keeping all the cards and just taking the damage. Okay. His hand must be pretty good. Pretty good. Now he pitched and still did a staunch response on top of that. So he's still taking 3 damage, which is fine. And then we're going to save our pack hunt for later. Okay. One thing I do like, one thing I wasn't playing before was the Awakening Bellows, and those are definitely have turned out to be worth it in the end. Okay. 8, no dominate. Can't draw cards on my next turn. That kind of helps me. In a way, that kind of helps me. So I can take 8, go down to 29. Then I can attack back with a 6 with a guaranteed dominate, plus the club at minimum. If not, the other intimidate attack. So let's go ahead and let's just take the damage, see what happens. Don't really care about the inability to draw cards. Because I don't need that card draw to make my turn work. So, play the Pulping, pitch this. I can't draw the card, but I can discard. As you can see there. So now I have a 6 that's dominated, that he's lost 1 card from hand. We're going to go ahead and say pass. Say pass. Going to do a staunch response, blocking 5. Now, one thing that he might do as a Bravo player is cut the defense reactions, because it's really hard to play defense reactions against Brute. And that's probably the cards that I needed to cut out of this list, but that's okay. We'll say pass on that. Let him take a damage. And now we have the choice of, do we pack hunt or do we club? Either way, well, if we pack hunt, we're going to get a free 6 in on him, which is going to put us ahead once again. We could also make it an 8 by cracking the Goliath gauntlets. And that may be worth it at this point. Let's go ahead and break them. I mean, you don't really learn from not trying things, so let's go ahead and break them. We'll make a new resource. Play the pack hunt, loses his last card, and he has to just take the 8 to the face, other than this 1 armor that he wants to use. I mean, go ahead and use the armor, that's fine. Now he has no more armor for the end game, where I'm really going to be coming after his life total. One thing about Brute that you probably need to know as a new player is that when they get you down to about 12, you're basically in kill range. Now, some people say it's 20, but it's really not 20. They're not going to deal you 20 damage in one turn. I think 16 is the most that most people will ever pull off in a turn. But if you're at 12, you're at a high risk of just getting killed outright. You're just not going to be able to survive what's coming. So keep that in mind if you're a new player and you've never played a Brute before. Be careful when you get down to 12 life. You really don't want to go down to 2 life because we do have the defense reaction that will deal you 2 damage on your turn. So, I mean, sometimes you have to, but you want to avoid that as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and come at him for 9. He's only got cards from hand that he can block with. Okay, he was able to block it, but he's only keeping 2 cards. So as you can see, the most he's really going to be able to do on his turn is swing hammer and pass. And that's what I want. I want him to be in a situation where he's swinging the hammer and not able to do anything back to me. Because then I don't really care what he does. Ooh, this is a weird turn, but we're going to do it. Okay, he's playing Sigil. Swinging hammer. See, this is what I want him to be doing, is swinging for 4. This is going to be a weird turn. Double intimidate. I think we say pass. Or we can defend with the boots. I don't really like defending with the boots this early, but kind of worth it. Let's just say pass. We'll take the 4. 4 is not that big at this point in the game because we're at 24 life. Alright, so now we're going to see if my turn pays off. Awakening Bellow, pitching the Reckless Swing, Intimidate 1. Then we're going to spend our last 2 resources. Drawing and discarding. A Massacre. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be a 9 dominated. Ooh, and he had to block with a Crippling Crush because that's all he had. So 9 dominated, taking 6. Alright. And then I do have Go again, but I don't have the resources to pay for the club. If I did, I would be taking a free 5 damage on this guy. And that's what you're trying to get to, is free chip damage as a brute player. So this is a very grindy matchup. These are 2 of the OG characters. So it is a very grindy game. We will Arsenal the Pack Hunt because why not? It's a very grindy game, that's for sure. Now, we can get him really low in life total depending on what he does this turn. Okay, he's got a Sigil, so he's going to heal back to 25. And just swing the hammer. Okay, so I'm probably going to block half the hammer damage here with the boots. Just take 2. That's fine. And the reason being is I have Blood Rush Bellow, so this will be a pretty big turn regardless of what we draw into. So that 25 life lead, he's about to lose all of that here in a second. Alright, so we're going to play an action card. We're going to go ahead and we'll play Blood Rush Bellow, pitching the pommel. So we're going to lose one of our 6s, which is fine. And we're going to draw 2 new cards. Now we get another Blood Rush Bellow. Do we go again? Or do we kind of settle for what we have? That's the real question. And this is kind of a pivotal point in the game, because I can get him to no hand, but will it be worth the damage I'm going to deal? I'm not sure, because we don't know what the 2 cards we're going to draw are. But you know what? Let's take a risk. It's fine. We're going to add another Intimidate. We're going to go ahead and Blood Rush Bellow, getting rid of this Alpha Rampage to draw 2. I really want cheaper attacks is what I'm looking for. And as you can see, we did get a cheaper attack. And at this point, the random discard does not matter, because we literally have +2, +2, +2. We have all these stacking damage modifiers that are sitting out there now. So does it really matter? Not really. Now I do want to... I have a choice to make. So I can either Intimidate the last card, just deal free, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I can deal 12, take half of his life, with no answer from him. Or, well, there really isn't an R because I can't pitch this for anything. It's one thing in this game, you can't pitch to just do things without having a purpose. So I can't just, like, for example, pitch this pummel or, you know, play this this card just because I want to. So let's see. The question is, do I want to get greedy with my turn? I can't kill him this turn, regardless of what I do. So it's probably not worth rolling on Scab Skins now. Because if I roll a 1, my turn just ends, and I did all that for nothing. So let's at least get, I think, the Pack Hunt played. So we'll play the Pack Hunt, probably using the Tunic resource. I don't know, it's kind of an awkward resource thing right now. I think I just saved the Tunic resource. Play the Pack Hunt by pitching the Pommel. Go for 12 vanilla damage that he can't block. Say pass, pass. So he's down to 13. Now he's going to have a full hand coming into us. So, I mean, there's not going to be much we can do about that. He's probably going to come in with a dominated attack. But I think we've got enough of a life lead that it's not really going to matter. Coming in with a Spinal. And it's not a dominated Spinal. It's just a regular Spinal. So, since the Spinal Crush is not dominated, we're going to go ahead and block. Let's go ahead and pass instances. Let's see. So we're going to block 3 for sure. Let's block 3. And then we're going to go pass. And then we're going to block with the Reckless Swing, which will cycle a card from our hand, also dealing him 2 damage. So right now we're taking 2 damage, which is perfectly fine. Okay. And we will say pass. Alright, wasn't terrible. Not a terrible turn at all. Alright, so now we can utilize that Tunic resource and hopefully get 2 attacks off. I just need to draw something yellow or blue. So let's go ahead and spend the Tunic resource. We'll go ahead and do Swing, Fist, Think later. We do lose some life because this card has to resolve, so it banishes cards off the top until it finds a 6. And I lose a life every time it's not a 6. So we found a Barraging. Oh, and look, we got a Barraging Bighorn, yellow. Which is exactly what I needed. It cost me 2 life to get it, but I just needed it for the club swing. And then now, we go ahead and swing the club for a vanilla 5. And really, do you want to take 5 at this point? Probably not, so he's using the sink below. And he's only really going to have a 2-card hand to attack back into us, which is fantastic for us. Alright. Looking good, looking good. He had a Crippling Crush, but he couldn't pay for it. So he hit the Arsenal card. And say go. Alright. Oh, decisions, decisions, decisions. Here's some decision points we have to make. I think honestly, there's not much of a decision to be made here. You just play Alpha Rampage and get some chip damage in. I can't quite kill him, so there's no reason to like draw a card, discard a card. Not really a reason to play Sand Sketch Plan. Because the problem is if you play Sand Sketch Plan and you discard one of these yellows, I may not be able to play. I don't have the cards in hand to play 2 attacks. So doing like the club and something else, I'm just not going to bleed enough damage. I think with the Alpha Rampage, I at least guarantee a bleed of like 2 to 3. So, oops. One thing bad about this app is exactly what I just did. Which is accidentally pressing the button. So, now I gotta find a card that I'm gonna play instead. I was going to play the Alpha Rampage, but I don't think I can unless I hit the right card here on this discard. So let's do a Wrecker Romp Blue, and we hit the Alpha Rampage. That sucks. Okay. Perfectly fine. We'll just do this a different way. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack with the Wrecker Romp. Or the Romping Club, sorry. Romping Club, pitching. It's going to attack for 5. then we still have an action point after. So we're still going to bleed damage regardless. It's just not the damage I wanted to bleed. Oh, he didn't block. He must have a good hand. But he's going to have to block this next one. Otherwise, it is lethal. So let's go ahead and swing. Now, because of the discard, I do lose some life, which I wasn't trying to do. I got another Beast Within. He's going to block for 3. He's going down a 2. I'm just wondering what's in his hand that's so valuable. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, well, it is what it is. Question is, do we Arsenal this Beast Within? I don't think we ever do. This is a card that you never wanted an Arsenal. So, let's say pass. Let's see what he's got. Now we have a 17-2 lead, so there's nothing he can really do that's really going to change the outcome of what's going to happen. I mean, he could have a Crippling Crush. That might be what he's setting up for. He's pitching red, making another Seismic. Yep, that's exactly what it is. He's got a Crippling Crush for 11. That's not dominated. Now, as you can see, if you can see in my hand, we have lethal on the board. So he basically he saved all those cards for nothing. And that's one thing that happens to a lot of Rhinar players, like real life players against Rhinar. They don't realize going down to 2 is going to kill them with this Reckless Swing. So I've won so many games off of Reckless Swing, it's not even funny. And you know, it feels bad to beat your opponent when they can't interact with it, but I mean, that is how it works. So I dealt him 2 damage, and he is defeated. So that is my new Rhinar versus the Bravo that won. Now I do think that this Bravo list, I probably wouldn't have done as well if I cut all the defense reactions out, because really, I think he wouldn't run the unmovables and things against me. So what we'll do is we'll run a second game where I cut all those cards out, and then I'll post that one as well. And hopefully it's a little bit of a closer game so you can see how it really would pan out. But don't sleep on Rhinar. He's very much a threat when you see a Rhinar player. Because the thing about Rhinar is, even though some people think he's weak, the people that are playing Rhinar are very good at playing Rhinar. So they're not going to be, a pushover. It's not going to be a pushover win like some players out there, I'm sure, think they're going to get when they play against Rhinar. So it's not going to be a pushover player. It's somebody that's really enjoyed the hero and they've played them for a long time, and that's why they're choosing to play them in this meta. So, and he's in a good spot for this meta. The Prism meta is very good for Rhinar. So we'll see how it goes. This might be what I'm playing for Orlando. We'll find out later.